So here are 3 wrenches that are sort of gimmicky, and they're supposed to make you go faster. We have the Mastercraft Quick Adjust Wrench, which you can see right here. It functions by squeezing this handle and things get closer until they can't get any closer. And then you push this button and it springs open. So that's number 1. Number 2 is the Crescent Rapid Slide Wrench. These are both 8 inches, by the way. Now, this works because there's a helical coil inside of here, and when you pull it back and forth, it engages and it allows you to open this up to 1 inch wide. This guy opens up as well to 1 inch wide. And then finally, we have the Supertool Wide Wrench MFW 280S. It has the regular maneuver right there, but you can push this in to disengage these wires and quickly get it in the ballpark of where you want, and then maneuver it this way. Yeah, it's really easy to service. You can just remove this bolt right here, and this whole assembly can slide off. But you can see here, I can get it where I need it really quickly and then fine tune it with this guy. So yeah, these are 3 different wrenches that are supposed to be quick. So first of all, if I have bigger nuts, neither of these guys are going to do it. Whereas an 8-inch Crescent wrench, I would expect to be able to do an 1.5 inches. At least that's what I would want. But let's move over to here. Okay, how well do these work? So I can't really get too much further down, and I have good hold of these guys. So unfortunately, every time, because these get so tight, they'll get caught on there. So you have to keep kind of releasing it to be able to get it on there, unless you can come in from the tip, right? Because these aren't as parallel as I would like. The tips curve in just a little bit. So I can't, it's much harder to go in like this and go fast. So you can go in and go fast. But as I'm doing this, you see it's bulky, it's tough. I will give you a close-up here of the mechanism here. So as I close it, it goes all the way, and then if I want to grab this bolt, you can see here, I had no problem doing that. So it is working for sure. But the reason I say this is gimmicky is because with this mechanism, first of all, a lot of this is plastic. I don't anticipate this will hold up very well. But that being said, once you have it sized, let's size it to this small, oh, I messed up there. Let's size it to this small guy. Once you have it sized, it does stay the size that it's at. Now I do have trouble just because I'm using double bolts here. So, okay. So you can see here that it does stay sized very well, whereas a regular Crescent wrench might loosen up a little bit as you're doing this. Oh, and see that? The button didn't depress. Okay, so it does stay where it's supposed to, much better I think than an actual Crescent wrench would, but because there's some spring mechanisms in there, it's a lot of plastic, I don't think this will hold up very long term. Now is the Crescent Rapid Slide Wrench. You can see here, very easy, feels like it would be quick. It's kind of like using a regular wrench. The problem is, with a regular wrench, I'd want to be right here using the adjustment as I go on and off, right? But let's try this. Let's say I size it for this guy right here. So now that guy's sized perfectly. If I shake it, it doesn't seem to be going anywhere, but it did get a little bit bigger. So let's size it properly here. Size it. And it did get bigger. So I would say that that does have a hard time keeping its shape if you're shaking it around. But, oh, I see, it's already, so this is one of those things where just like a regular crescent wrench, you'd want to be able to manipulate it and keep it tight as you're going. The problem is, I feel like, by the way, this is an old design. There's lots of tools you can get from a long time ago that have the same design. You have that same play that you have from a regular crescent wrench, and I feel like you don't nearly have the control you'd expect. And yeah, this is quicker for sure to get to the main ballpark, but you can see here how just moving it a lot like this, I'm not really getting much of a movement in the teeth. For very light duty tasks, I would say this guy's pretty dang cool. And I forgot to point out that these both have metric on the back side as well. All right, so I don't know if any serious professional should use these whatsoever, but they are very fun, so I'll keep them in a collection. This guy, however, this guy is legitimately beefy. I like how thin this is, so you can really get into tight places for how big this is. Now, how often that would actually be used by a professional, I'm not sure, because I personally have no need for a wrench this big in my line of work. But I really liked the mechanism, and I like collecting tools that have something unique about them, trying to solve a problem in a different way. You know, how this works, well, let's find out here. And for fun here, let's so it works well enough. So yeah, I feel like you can get really good leverage on this sucker. It has a little tiny thing here so that you can put a lanyard on it. Yeah, I really like this wrench. I think this wrench is serious business. And the gimmick on it feels like it would stand the test of time. It's all fully metal. I'm sure that spring inside at some point might need replacing. Well, actually, for the time being, I don't feel like grabbing the appropriate thing here, so we'll just remove this guy. So you'd actually have to take out these rivets in order to get to the spring. There is a little bit, I don't know if you can see that inside of there. So there is a little tiny in and out location inside of there. But I feel like the spring is pretty well secure and safe from most debris you would get. So I feel like this would stand up the test of time. In this case, I feel like it's not a gimmick. It actually works. And in this case, this is a very old gimmick. You can get really old versions of this tool from different companies on eBay, no problem. Or you can get this brand new. Personally, I think this is a gimmick not worth it. And this guy, again, another gimmick that is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, but not worthwhile. So the reason I have these kind of combined is because they're all supposed to be quick and allow you to do the job a little bit faster, really quickly here. Here's a banana for scale. Please subscribe. It's really easy to be taken in by gimmicks. You know, for the regular homeowner, you might see something like this and think, oh, it looks really cool. It's by Mastercraft, because you don't understand that Mastercraft's not that great of a company anymore, if it ever was. Maybe one time. But, you know, you might see this, you're going to see this at, you know, your Canadian Tire, and you're going to think, oh, Mastercraft is the Canadian Tire brand. Surely it's going to work for what I need. And it probably will if you're just like an at-home Mr. Fix-It. But for any serious professional, I would not bring this to a job site. And this guy, you would think, it's beefy. Like, it's fully metal. You'd think it's going to be good. But I really think that this mechanism is questionable at best. It's very old, and people keep bringing it back, which is probably just because it is cool and it's fun to play with. Like, if you're a fidgety kind of person, it's fun. So what I would say is beware of gimmicks and tools that look gimmicky, but keep an open mind when you go about your life, because sometimes these gimmicky tools and sometimes these prejudices that we have can be wrong. Yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching.